Thank you guys for coming back to another live broadcast. All right, so some of the things we're going to talk about today, thank you guys for coming back. I do appreciate that. But today on the No Man's Sky subcast, if you guys want to get on the show, just add lpoly1622 on my Skype, message me, and get you right on the show. But we're going to talk about is multiplayer. Now, we know No Man's Sky is not a multiplayer game, but there are elements of multiplayer to it, some cool aspects to it, and ways to play. I was having several conversations with some people who they're still not really clear on the multiplayer No Man's Sky, and the what do you do in No Man's Sky questions kind of stopped. But there are some questions out there where people are just not sure how to play. They know the things you can do, but they're saying, "Is all am I doing is it just flying and gathering and traveling?" Hello, Dark Red. How are you doing? So there's many things, many different ways you could play No Man's Sky. So we're going to talk about that a little bit too. But what I want to talk about is something that I am most excited about, and that is the multiplayer aspect of No Man's Sky. Now we know that this game's kind of like a single-player multiplayer experience. And what I mean by that is it's so big that your chances of running into somebody is going to be extremely rare. But it can happen. So it is online. It is constant. We're all in the same exact universe. But the thing is, running into somebody, that's going to be the difficult part. And once you do, you can't, there's no real interaction, at least stated from Sean Murray. You can't even shoot. But he did say that you can a little bit kind of grief another player. And we'll get to some of those ways that I think you can grief another player without being able to shoot that person. So we know it's online. We know we're in the same universe. And Sean Murray says it's not core to the game to go to your friend. But in the Game Informer interview, he was asked if you could get to your friend. And Sean Murray stated yes, that it would take a very long time, but you could. And his explanation was, but your friend would have to wait there for a very long time. Now, the multiplayer aspect, what you kind of carry around like a lobby that can hold up to 3 people. And what happens is, picture it like a bubble. And this bubble is, going around with you. If there's a player outside of that bubble, you won't see them. But as soon as they enter in that discrete space, they're there for you. It's not, if you took like 20 friends and you met at one specific location, not everybody would be visible because of the amount of people that can be inside your discrete space. So now that we kind of have an understanding how the multiplayer works in a roundabout way explained by Sean Murray, let's talk about getting to your friend. Sean Murray said, yes, it's possible. Now, when you start in No Man's Sky, as according to the Game Informer interview, you're only 40 to 100 hours away from the center of the galaxy when you start. So that means that another player is going to be anywhere between 40 and 100 hours away from you and under. So who knows where your friend's going to start? Could be closer than 40 hours away, could be a lot further. Now on the galactic map, you can look on the galactic map and as stated by Sean Murray, you could see your friend's location on the galactic map. So between there, you and your friend can actually plot a journey to get to each other. Now, I know a lot of people are saying, and a lot of people have said, "Oh, but it's impossible. It's not core to the game. It's a very people don't understand how long that journey is going to be." Understood. And you know what? You're right. You're so right that that's what the fun is going to be. Journey to get to your friend. Could you imagine the journey, the adventure, the things you're going to have to go through just to get with somebody in the galaxy in No Man's Sky? And by the time you got to each other, you would have so many stories to talk about. But you can look at the map, find his location. You're 40 to 100 hours away from that person. So it's possible. Now, once you get together, there's no game mechanic that can help you stay together. So we don't know what happens when we sign off and sign back on. We don't know if we sign back on the very next to the very rock we were standing next to, or if it's a random place in that solar system that we are at, or at the space station. We don't know. And if your friend starts traveling around, it's going to be kind of difficult to find him if he was playing while you were offline. Now, as far as the planets are big, if you dropped 1 million people on a planet, it would be hard for them to even run into each other. So the simplest way, if you finally do get to your friend, is to meet at the one and only space station that is in that solar system. Problem solved. So it is definitely possible to get with your friend, and I cannot wait to see how many YouTube channels are going to do something like that. I know I'm going to. And you don't have to sacrifice the center. You and your friend can both head towards the center of the galaxy and choose to meet at a specific solar system that is relatively close to it. There you go. You're playing the core of the game, and you're working on an effort into meeting up with your friends. So as far as getting to the center of the galaxy, people, I see comments all the time saying, well, wouldn't it be easier to run into somebody if everyone's heading to one central point? Now, Sean Murray addressed that question by saying, well, you would think so, but the center, he said, is still really big. So whatever is at the center, it's still a big area. But who knows? I mean, our chances of running into somebody are going to be a lot better, even though the center is very big, than when we first start out. But I have a theory about No Man's Sky, and it's just a theory, is that when you get to the center, something big happens. In addition to that, you're going to, I believe, it's not a fact, that you're going to be sucked into a different galaxy, a black hole. And the game's not scientifically accurate, so I know a black hole probably wouldn't suck you into another galaxy. This is just a video game. It's a really great video game. And it's just that, a video game. So I believe, as stated by Sean Murray, it's not scientifically accurate that you would go into another galaxy. And I think that the game's going to get stranger and stranger. And I think the goal or the core of the game is to get to the center of each galaxy that you start in. So with that said, the longer the game goes on, I believe it's going to get harder and harder for you to run into your friend. If someone's just going into one galaxy, then another galaxy, you're getting further spread apart. But anyways, it's possible, and I can't wait for all of you guys to get on there and prove everybody wrong and meet up with your friend. As far as griefing, when Sean Murray said you can grief another player, this is the exciting part, because there was an interview where he said you can't trade, you can't shoot. But we do know that the character stands upon a ground, and we do know that we can deform that ground. So if you were to shoot the ground underneath of another player, it would essentially fall into the hole. And if you were able to get your ship on top of that hole in time before you can get out, well, then he's stuck, unless he can blow your ship up. What if he doesn't have any plasma cartridges? So I don't know how the griefing would actually play in, but that's the only thing I can think of if you can't actually shoot another player. All right, so ways to play No Man's Sky. I was also just having another conversation on YouTube in the comments section, or was it? No, it was Facebook, about someone saying, I hope there's more to the game than just flying and gathering and trying to get to the center. And there is. There is a lot more to No Man's Sky than just that. What I explained to him is that he said he hopes there's like guilds or factions or something like that. And there is. There are factions in No Man's Sky. Now, you're not necessarily tied to one, but if you start helping out a faction, then you become friends with that faction. And you can call wingmen to help you out in certain situations from that faction. And you can get rewarded for helping out that particular faction against its enemy. Now, when I was watching the E3 2015 demo, we all seen the giant space battle that was happening. It showed like this mothership just warping in and just spewing out all these fighters everywhere. And it was just amazing. And one of the ways that I might like to play No Man's Sky is from space. But you could play the game on a war factor. You could be in space, all these space battles and these big wars between factions, and you could be that player that's constantly helping out the other faction, constantly in these big giant space wars and getting rewarded from it. And as you shoot another ship, you destroy another ship. If they're carrying anything, you can swoop down and you can grab whatever it was that was carrying. And you can get involved in these big dramas between these big factions. And that is another way that you can play the game. And you can get really sucked into that. You can just get buried into that warring factor of the game. And every once in a while, go down onto a planet and have a little bit of peace from the war. No Man's Sky is going to very heavily involve your imagination. There is enough there to where if you don't want to use your imagination, you don't have to. But if you land down on a planet and you're exploring everything, you're thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, things are probably falling apart up there without my help. And you jump in your ship, go up there, and sure enough, they're in a war. And you start fighting. It's amazing. You could play the game from just a trader or just a pirate or scavenger. No Man's Sky is not going to be played the same by everybody. Everyone's going to have their own different view of what this game is. They're going to have their own idea of what No Man's Sky is to them. If I ask you, you play No Man's Sky, you're immediately going to okay, I'm a pirate. Yeah, I'm an outlaw. And then I'm going to be like, yeah, I'm not an outlaw. I'm up there in space, always in these big wars and saving the day and everything. So people are going to have their own different ways to play No Man's Sky. And I cannot wait to see how many people and how many different ways are going to be uploaded to YouTube.
Hello.
Philip, how you doing, buddy? Thank you for coming on the show.
Good. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's awesome, dude. Awesome. So we were talking about some of the things in multiplayer, and that's in No Man's Sky, because we know there's a kind of multiplayer element that's in No Man's Sky, to where you can look at the galactic map and you can see your friend's location. When you start the game, you're only 40 to 100 hours away from the center of the galaxy, and that time frame is if you just go straight for it. You do the bare essentials just to get there.
Yeah.
So there is an element. Sean Murray did say, yeah, you could get to your friend, but it's not core to the game, and it would take a really long time.
Didn't he also say there's going to be like some more traditional multiplayer element that he might add in later after release?
Yeah, back at GameSpot interview, he talked about the more traditional multiplayer, and at the time, they actually said it was something they were really excited about, but they weren't ready to talk about it entirely.
Yeah, I remember hearing that.
But since then, not a word from that. So, I don't know if that's something that they've dropped or something that they just got on the back burner, or they're just not ready to talk about anymore.
Yeah, from what I understood, it was something he was going to add in after they released the game.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
way down the road, yeah.
So they probably wouldn't talk about it until the game's already out.
Exactly. And stuff like that is expensive. It's expensive to be able to have a game that's, set up servers and stuff like that. So
yeah.
With a small company like Hello Games, I'm pretty sure that if I was a developer and I'm making a game, I might not be able to have multiplayer right away. I might have to wait until we get the sales of the game to be able to afford such a big, massive multiplayer. So maybe that's their plan.
Yeah, this game's being funded by the money they made from the Joe Danger games.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
It's not a ton of money.
No. And it's amazing the feat that they've actually, accomplished with just a little bit of money and a lot of passion.
Yeah, it's really inspiring.
Definitely is. And we were also talking about ways to play the game. So I was having a conversation with someone on Facebook, and I told them, about how you could play the game from a warring perspective in space, constantly helping out factions in these big giant faction wars in space. And he was unaware to that fact. And the factions will reward you for actually helping them out. And you can call on them as wingmen for help and other situations. And that can take up a big portion of your gameplay if you get really into something like that. So as far as No Man's Sky goes and everything that we know so far, because there's more that we don't, how do you plan on playing the game?
Yeah, I think I'm going to focus probably on exploration mostly, because I think that's most exciting for me. But I'm curious how the faction thing is going to work, because he has said that there's going to be no like AI that you like talk to or anything. I'm pretty sure I remember him saying that. So how is them rewarding you going to be? Is it just going to, how is that going to work?
Well, exactly. When he was asked about NPC, non-playable characters. And when he gave his example of a non-playable character, he gave an example of a shop owner. You know, like, welcome to my shop. What are you buying? What are you selling? And really, when us as gamers are thinking about NPCs and No Man's Sky, well, at least for me, I'm thinking about what's in the ships. You know, you don't necessarily have to talk to them. They could speak a procedurally generated noise of a language that we don't even have to understand. You know, so it doesn't have to be repetitive like Skyrim.
Yeah, but I think part of it might be that what would they have in the ships, because they have this thing of the big mystery of when you see another player for the first time.
Right.
Which, well, I mean, wouldn't that take servers to run that?
But what he said, what you have is you're carrying around like this little bubble. It's like a 3-person lobby that can hold up to a few people. And what it is, it's a discrete space. Like another player can enter into your discrete space. He said it'll be kind of like in the show Lost, when Jack kept seeing his dad and then his dad was gone. So pretty much if they're in that bubble, you can see them. But as soon as they leave that bubble, so to speak, they're gone. You can't see them anymore. Okay,
that makes sense. And that's a smart way to do it.
Right.
Make it probably less laggy for a bunch of people doing it.
Sure, yeah. And he also said that if everybody decided to go to one location, that it would be, everyone wouldn't be there at the same time. And the reason for that being is that just a few person lobby that you have. Everyone would be popping in and out. You know, it'd be a mess, really, if there was more than 3 people there.
Yeah, but I mean, what are the chances you're actually going to get more than 3 people in the same place, No Man's Sky?
Exactly. You're exactly right. And you're going to be lucky to run into one person. And what's really cool about that is, here's another way to play the game. Seek people out, right? Not one of your friends, because we already know that that's going to be a journey in itself, an adventure. But if you look at the galactic map and you see a star twinkling, Sean Murray said that's a player making a discovery in that solar system.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. So if you're able to see that star twinkling and it's within your hyperdrive jump, and then you jump over there, now you're going to, it's, you know, chances are you're not going to find him, but chances are he's going to go to the space station at least once or twice.
Yeah, that's cool.
So you
and
can
it's
hang
probably
out
going to.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a lot easier to find players once you get closer to the center, because it's a smaller radius, and that's where people are.
In a way, yeah, it is smaller, but what's really confusing is that Sean Murray said, he was asked, well, won't we see everybody since we're heading to the same spot? And he said, well, the center is still really big. So yeah, I'm still confused on that. But yeah, as far as whether, being able to tell if it's a real person or a ship, just, AI ship just flying around. In GTA, when even take away the names in GTA on top of our characters, what's an AI car driving versus a player driving. It's erratic. Yeah, it's over, they're speeding, they're crashing. There's a very big difference between the way the AI drive and the way the real players drive. So if there's a ship flying towards the space station, it's not going to be flying as smooth and clean as some of the other AI.
Yeah, probably. But I mean, at the same time, you're going to get more chance of seeing players the longer you're playing, which means you're going to be more experienced with the game. You're not going to be seeing players that just started out. At least probably not.
Well, true. I just, you're still going to be, as a player, making random movements, like, ooh, what's that over there? Ooh, what's this over there?
Yeah.
There's still going to be a difference in the flying. There's still going to be you checking out an asteroid, or you're going to go check out or shoot at something randomly. You know what I mean? You're going to be able to tell. I really do truly believe you're going to be able to tell. Maybe not all the time, but definitely most of the time.
Yeah, I could imagine. I mean, even though this game doesn't have multiplayer and stuff, I could imagine just me inviting a friend over and just showing them a planet I found.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't have to have another player playing the game to enjoy the game.
No,
Together.
not at all. I'm going to enjoy this game without anybody at all. You know what I mean? I mean, it's going to be fun to be alone, but it's also, I can't ignore the fact that it'd also be fun to be with somebody at the same time.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it's fun either way. And I really like the fact that it's hard to find somebody. I think it would kind of ruin it if the co-op was too easy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like the journey that's ahead of me trying to find someone that I know.
Yeah, even just find anyone at all, because how he described that sense of wonder, because you don't know what you look like. So the first hint you get to that is by looking at someone else.
And even still, like your upgrades to your suit might differ than the way that I upgraded my suit. So we're going to look very similar, but I might have a little bit different things on me than you do.
Yeah, so I mean, the only way to truly know what you look like is
meet up with a friend. Screen capture each other.
Yeah.
That's it.
Unless, I mean, if it does say their like username or something, if you can connect to them through like PlayStation Network or whatever, and they can like send you a picture and stuff. But I wonder if they're going to show usernames. I don't think they will.
He said no, that they're not going to. But he did tease Game Informer within some sort of in-game chat.
So wait a sec. If it doesn't show usernames or anything, then how do you know if you actually found your friend? What if you just found your friend and you didn't realize it was your friend?
Well, you're on Skype with him, talking to him. You know, like, is that you there? Shoot. Oh, okay, you shot. That's you.
Yeah, that's true. That'd be kind of funny if you just ran into someone you knew and you didn't realize it. Later, oh, wait a sec.
Yeah. But yeah, there's so many different ways to play. You said you're going to be an explorer. So what exactly is, like, what do you mean by explorer? What do you plan? Are you exploring animals, the alien animals? Are you trying to find that perfect planet, or are you a cataloger? What do you mean?
I don't know. I think it's like probably a cataloger inviting planets. Like in a lot of video games, I just kind of explore every single corner of the map, even though it's completely unnecessary to.
Yeah.
Whenever it has the area is unexplored, I need to have it all there. And then cataloging stuff, but there's no limit to what could be cataloged, so I don't really know. I'm just really excited for this game.
I know, dude. And you know, exploring in video games is something that's innate in all of us. Like when I used to be young and I was playing the regular Mario, the side-scrolling Mario, I always wished I could just jump back there and travel through the scenery. But I couldn't. And look at me now. You play Rocket League. You can get out of the arena by glitch and travel around in the cities and stuff that's back there. It's not just a skybox. They're really 3D models back there, and you can actually drive through them and fly through them and stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, like this technology, because of having this, even being on one planet and looking up will feel more real, because you know it's not just a picture up there, it's actual planets that you can actually go to.
Exactly. Yes.
Because, I mean, real life, it's, at least so far from what we've seen, it's way more than 9 out of every 10 planets that are barren. So it's going to be exciting when you find that other planet that, oh, this planet has life on it. This planet has trees. This planet has fish.
Yeah. Imagine being on a barren planet, though, and not fully knowing if there's nothing there.
Yeah, like when he randomly went to a planet on E3 and he said there was no life, and then he found fish.
Right, yeah.
But I mean, barren, I'm assuming, is still going to have resources and stuff.
There's always going to be resources. But I think it'd be kind of cool to be on a barren planet and hear a noise coming from somewhere.
That would be kind of scary. Just you think you're alone, just sitting down mining or whatever, and you just hear something behind you.
Yeah, or what if you just, exploring, mining, there's nothing there. It's a barren red rock planet, but every once in a while the ground just rumbles. Something's down there. Yeah. You just know it. And like on ExploreNMS, we have it's a website forum for No Man's Sky, and we have a section on there that we're going to be putting up after the game comes out. That's going to be like No Man's Sky urban legends. And
oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. So it's just like if you're ever on a planet and you do hear that rumbling or something similar to that, you could take, record it and then upload it to there. And it's just
And
one
then-
of those things that never be explained.
And then other players could try and find that planet and discover the secret.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of cool stuff, man. And if you think about the glitches, they can't catch them all. It's impossible, right? So
Yeah.
the glitches, I think, are going to be a very cool thing to explore in itself.
Yeah, especially with procedural generations. I mean, most things are going to look awesome, but there's going to be some things that just look weird.
Yeah, exactly. Now, what did you think of the
'Cause-
new trailer with that bipedal creature running towards the character?
Yeah, that was cool. So I'm guessing there's going to be some aggressive creatures then.
Oh, and yeah,
Well,
there's definitely
Yeah,
aggressive
like
creatures.
naturally. But like,
Right.
there's also bipedal, which is, yeah, it's cool. I mean, we haven't seen almost anything. Like he was saying, he was trying to show us the most normal things
Mhm.
because otherwise it would be disorientating.
Right. It's going to be interesting to see what the procedural universe creates for us out there.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. You got any final words, man?
Well, I'm just really excited for the game. Thanks for having me.
No problem, dude. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. All right. Good caller, guys. Good caller. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this up for tonight. And I thank you guys so much for coming out. And I hope that pirate fight didn't get too violent between the pirate and the mercenary. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. I love you guys. And I will see you in the next video. Until next time.